Hi, Aletha here with Create Your Future, and thank you for joining me on this video to remind you that Create Your Future is still giving away a free course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast, and that I still have courses available, $50 each, and I do one-on-one coaching, so check it all out. The links are in the description box below. I want to answer a subscriber's question. I would like to manifest my own house, but not sure how to financially afford it with the job I have. Ideally, I would love to work from home in this house, just to be financially independent and not stress about it. How would you go about this? Let me read a quote for you from Neville Goddard to begin with. And it's from Feeling is the Secret. All you can possibly need or desire is already yours. You need no helper to give it to you. It is yours now. Call your desires into being by imagining and feeling your wish fulfilled. As the end is accepted by you, you become totally indifferent as to possible failure. For acceptance of the end wills the means to that end. And then another part of this is that you need to feel it real. Feeling is the one and only medium through which the subconscious mind or the quantum field acknowledges our desires or mirrors them back to us. So Neville Goddard is simply saying that you have it now. The quantum field is infinite possibilities. We are of two beings. We are a quantum and then we are the physical being. And the quantum recognizes our feelings, our emotions, our heart. So what you can do simply is just to imagine that you already have the house. Know what it looks like. Feel it, that you're living there. Feel it, what it feels like to walk through each room, what it feels like to go in the front door and the back door. What does the place look like? What does the property feel like? And feel it according to what you want it to be. And if you don't have a house in mind, well then just imagine a house the way you would like it to be and live in that house with going through it like each room and feeling the feeling of being in those rooms and in that environment. That it's yours now, that you have it, it's already fulfilled. And then you leave the rest up to the quantum field, the rest up to the universe. So you don't have to worry about where the money's gonna come from. You don't have to worry about how much money is in your bank account or isn't in your bank account. You don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about the job you have or do not have. You don't have to worry about any of that. All you do is live internally as though you're living in that house now, and you feel the feelings you would feel as a person living in that house. And you can imagine it, see it, and feel it during your imaginal scene. And then when you come out of that imaginal scene, you bring the feelings with you. People want to know, well, how do I live from the end? You live from the end with your feelings. When you come out of an imaginal scene, living from the end of already having whatever it is your heart's desiring, in this case, it's a house, then you come out of that imaginal scene with the feeling inside of you that it's yours now. And you feel joy, and you feel love, and you feel excited and happy, and whatever those feelings are for you, you feel those positive feelings, and you stay in that state. And when you start to drift out of it for whatever reason, then just go back into your imaginal scene and feel it again, and then come back out and continue to feel it and sustain that feeling for as long as you can. And as you practice, it gets easier and easier to sustain the feeling. And so you might be in the middle of a business meeting and suddenly you think of your house and you get that wonderful feeling. You didn't have to go into an imaginal scene, just something triggered the fact that you had that house in mind. And now you're feeling the feelings because you're living there internally. And so you feel that wonderful feeling. It is not necessarily how regimented I am. It's feeling the feeling, becoming consumed. It's you all day long. It's not just When do I do it? In the morning? Do I do it at night? Do I do it? No. You imagine what you want. You feel the feeling. It becomes so strong. You see yourself in every single room of that house. You feel what it feels like. You imagine scenes there, holidays, birthdays, whatever, living there with yourself, your family, and you feel the feelings of that, and you live in that feeling. You are consumed by that feeling, and nothing else will matter, because you know it's yours. And that's what he means by the acceptance. When he says, as the end is accepted, you become totally indifferent as to the possible failure. It's not going to fail. And doesn't matter what's going to show up or what is showing up in the current 3D. You feel the feeling of having that house now, and it will manifest. And I have two examples. One is a client. The client explained to me that they wanted a mansion way out of their price range. They imagined it, and they felt the feelings of being there, and they walked through each room in their imagination, and they lived there in their imagination, and they felt the feelings of being an occupant of that house. They didn't worry about where the money would be coming from or how they could ever have the money to live in that house, or the means or the reason or whatever for living in that house. They manifested that house, that mansion. And they went through a series of bridge of incidents, and the house became theirs. Now, I also did that with the place I live now. 7 years ago, I was living somewhere else, and I decided I wanted something different. I wanted a bigger place. I wanted something that could really hold and facilitate large numbers of people for my family gatherings and friends and all that good stuff. And so I decided I wanted a big house. I wanted one with tall ceilings, big spacious rooms, big windows, lots of big windows. I wanted all hardwood floors. I wanted, of course, a laundry, and I wanted it to be 2 stories. It has a full attic and a full basement. And I wanted it to have a pretty outside with grass and yard and trees, and in a neighborhood that was just perfect for me, because I love to walk and bike. And so where it wasn't like on a busy street. So as it turns out, that's exactly what I manifested. And how did I do that? Well, at night in my other place, and it was a much smaller place, I would fall asleep at night thinking about my house. It was my house, and I made it mine. It was mine. And in my imagination, I saw my house with all those things that I just mentioned. And I also knew that because I had downsized years before, that I needed more furniture to fill this place. And so I imagined the furniture that would be in my house. And I just felt those feelings. And then throughout the day, as I would go about my business and whatever I was doing, and thoughts of it would come up, I would feel those feelings again. It'd be so wonderful, because what you realize is, maybe you don't realize, but I hope you do. And that is, when you imagine something, you're taking snapshots. And so later in the day, thoughts might come to you about your house, and you're going to see a snapshot of your house, because that's the way our mind works. And when that snapshot shows up, snapshots always produce a feeling, right? You can look at a picture of you from your high school days, and you get feelings from those days. Or you hear a song on the radio, and it gives you feelings from the time period, reminds you of something. And so when you imagine, you're creating snapshots that will come to you throughout the day. And when they do, they're going to come with a feeling, and you're going to feel that good feeling that you have produce through your imaginal scene, and then sustain it as you go out through the day. Now, you have an imaginal scene, and I would fall asleep and then, of course, wake up in the morning. But I imagined other times. And when you imagine, if you're not falling asleep right after, when you do imagine, get up, go about your day, but take the feeling with you. You imagine it so that you feel it's yours now. You feel those feelings, and then as you go through your day, you stay in those feelings. You can just feel it vibrating in you, that this is mine, and you feel that feeling. And so you can be in the middle of a very serious business meeting, and something triggers your mind to remember your house, and suddenly all those beautiful feelings come up, that this is my beautiful house, and you feel those feelings. Now, so it's so important to understand then that you can do this without the aid of anything outside of you. I didn't. I did that in imaginal scene, and then one day I was just scrolling on Facebook, and it was I just went into Facebook, and the very first thing on my thread was this house. And then I realized it was posted or listed by friends of mine. So I contacted them. 2 or 3 days later, I came to see the house, and I remember going through it, and I remember standing in the living room of the house and looking up at the owner, and I said, I want this. I want this house. And so it's mine now. I live here for 7 years. I've been here. And I have more than enough furniture. And that's the other thing. I had imagined the style or the kind of furniture I wanted in my house at the time. And someone gifted me that as a housewarming gift for the whole living room furniture. It was just like, that's what's so cool about the law of assumption. Now, since this past year, I decided I wanted different furniture for that room. And so I started imagining what I wanted. And guess what? I have different furniture there now because it manifested. So why? You live from the feeling that you already have it. That's how the universe works. It's our feeling. So you want that house, all you have to do is imagine that you have the house, design it, know what you want. Maybe you know what it looks like, maybe you don't. Whatever, you can create I didn't know what this looked like. I only knew what I was thinking, and it looks like what I was thinking. And in a large way, it does. It is very similar to the imaginal house that I had in my mind. And it does have all the things that I wanted for the house. So imagine it, whether you know what it looks like or you don't. Imagine that kind of house you want, and then feel the feeling, walk through it. I mean, live in that house mentally. Live in there. Feel the feelings of what it is to live in that house and enjoy that. And then as you go about your day, you have all that beautiful memory of that house inside of you, which is producing all those wonderful feelings. This is mine now. You accept it. And it doesn't matter what the 3D is showing you. It doesn't matter if you have a setback with work and economics change. Don't worry about that. Just stay persistent in seeing your house and feeling what it feels like to live in that house, and that it's yours now. Live in that state of consciousness, and it must manifest. So be persistent, and it will show up. Blessings, everybody. And if you know this is truth, that this law of assumption works through your imagination and feeling, then leave a word in the comments. Leave the word truth. This is truth. Blessings.